now let me talk about why did we bother inventing sentences? Because lists come with the language. Why did we make this whole extra data type? And if you look at the textbook, chapter 1 is entirely about numbers. And so they have some, pretty mathematically hairy examples about derivatives and iterative improvements of square roots and stuff like that. And they do that because while you're just learning about the control mechanisms of the language, they don't want you simultaneously to be struggling with the representation of data. And in particular, with the asymmetry of lists. Write a function to reverse a list. And that's really easy for sentences, because you can take the word at the front of the list and stick it at the back of the list. But if you try to do that straightforwardly for lists, you end up with something like this example, where I tried to stick 5 at the end of the list 3, 4, and I failed. Okay? So they wanted you not to have to see dotted pair notation by mistake at the very beginning of the course. So they get you all up to speed on control and then introduce data. I thought when I started teaching this class, we should have some more interesting examples from the beginning. And so I wanted a foolproof data structure. So like lists, but not lists, because they're not foolproof. And the idea actually came from Logo, which is a programming language for kids that deals in words and sentences. And we just implemented that data, those abstract data types, based on the things that Scheme already has. So now that we know about lists, most of the time you'll just, you'll use constant car encoder if what you're dealing with is a sequence. Although, so that's the idea, that we wanted a really simplified data structure. And I think it's worth talking about that, not just to satisfy your curiosity about it, but to start you thinking about what's involved in designing a programming language. And how might you make different design decisions depending on what you're trying to do with the programming language. So we're trying to, teach a freshman class. And that means what we need is a little bit different from what we would do if we were programming in industry using basically the same language.